honoring the rock legends on WICR.
All right, good afternoon, everyone. We are back with another installment of AM Sports with Sachs, Madeo, and Edwards. And good afternoon, good morning, fellas.
How you doing, Ian?
How you doing, Ian?
Good. Not bad. Pretty good week in sports so far, I'd say. So let's kick it off. Let's go with the big story, the Super Bowl. The Super Bowl was this past Sunday. We had the Seattle Seahawks dominating against the Denver Broncos. First, what are your thoughts on the game, guys?
Well, first off, I'd just like to say that I was right. Let's just put that out there. Defense wins games.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, Sean. The Seahawks got to Manning. They maintained a solid zone defense throughout the whole game. They brought a lot of pressure from the front four guys. Cliff Averill was a solid impact in this game, rusher from the right side. And they made Payne's day very uneasy in the pocket. So, I mean, they played really good defensively. And I think that the Seahawks played really good offensively, too. I mean, Marshawn Lynch never really got going. That was something I did not see coming. The Broncos were very good against the run. It's probably the only thing they did good the whole game. And Russell Wilson, I think that his performance was very underlooked. And, he played very well. I mean, he only threw for 206 yards, but I thought he played a great game. Ian, what do you think?
Yeah, he really controlled the Seahawks offense really well. He threw for 2 touchdowns, which
and
is
no
all
turnovers.
Yep, which is always a good thing. I think that Russell Wilson is one of those players that never really has an outstanding game, or will put up 300-400 yards, 4 or 5 touchdowns. But I think that he's one of the best game managers, and he doesn't turn the ball over. And I think in each of his 2 seasons in the NFL, he's had a passer rating over 100, which is definitely
he had 123 rating in this game. So
yeah,
he was 18 for 25. I think if the game was closer, if it wasn't a blowout, he definitely would threw for 350 yards because he basically didn't throw the ball at all the fourth quarter because it was over. By
that time,
yeah. And I think that a lot of people make it out like, oh, the Seahawks defense really shut down the Broncos offense, which is absolutely true, but
the credit goes to the offense.
Yeah, but then you got to look at they put up 43 points.
Yeah, they controlled the game in all 3 aspects. They outscored them. They played great defense, and the special teams was a big part. Percy Harvin's return. What do you guys think about that?
If they had Harvin this year, all year, they would have been phenomenal.
Yeah,
absolutely.
He was really fun to see in this game.
Yeah.
Exactly. Played very, very well.
I mean, when he ran the kickoff back to start the second half, I was thinking to myself, oh boy, this is just like 4 years ago with the Saints the onside kick to start the second half, and with Peyton Manning on the wrong side of both of them. So
so what do you guys think the Broncos, what was the problem with them?
I think that when it comes down to it, you have to be able to stop the other team, and that's what the Seahawks were able to do. They stopped the Broncos, and I think that it was just that the Seahawks defense was just swarming. I mean, Manning completed a Super Bowl record 34.
Yeah, but he got it in chump time. You know what I mean?
Right. The whole reason was that it didn't really amount to anything was because he'd complete a pass for maybe 5 yards, and then there'd be 3 Seahawk defenders right there on the receiver once he caught the ball, so he couldn't go anywhere. Which a lot of the Broncos' offense is yards after the catch.
Yeah,
and that's the Seahawks did an exceptional job at limiting that. I think that the Broncos only had one play where they had more than 20 yards on a pass, which is amazing for the most potent offense to keep them to only one decent sized play. I mean, that's
it looked like that they were never able to get going. The first play of the game was a safety. Like Peyton, like the whole team didn't look confident. They never played with that whole like the same serenity and like rhythm that we've seen them accustomed to doing.
Yeah.
Like there was many like pivotal factors. Trenton Holiday, the Broncos rely a lot on their special teams. Trenton Holiday always makes a big play. I don't even think he even got past the 20, and any return.
Yeah.
No Sean Moreno, completely shut down. Completely
Absolutely.
shut down. And the offensive line. What did we talk about in our first radio show? The offensive line needs to protect Peyton. Peyton is not a guy who's going to make a big play with his legs. So, once the offensive line was getting swarmed on both sides in the little zone blitz action, Peyton was like a loose duck out there. He had nowhere to go.
Yeah.
So,
You go on.
I was gonna say, bottom line, they just basically swarmed poor Peyton Manning. He looked just completely out of sync out there from the start of the game to the closing of the game. Really.
Yeah. The Seahawks did an exceptional job swarming all Broncos offensive players. I mean, they rushed the line, which means that they were able to swarm Peyton Manning, and then even when he was able to complete a pass, as I said earlier, there were 3 Seahawk defenders there. The Seahawks secondary.
Oh, it's insane.
Is insane. I mean,
look at one of their players in their secondary got the MVP, Malcolm Smith.
Yeah. All right.
What do you guys think about that?
That's a good question. Malcolm Smith had the pick 6, and he also had I think he had the tackle for the safety. Is he your MVP of the game, or should it have been someone else?
I mean, there's a couple MVP candidates. Malcolm Smith, a well-deserving pick. I'm not going to take anything away from him. He had pick 6. He had a fumble recovery throughout the game, too. Cam Chancellor, I believe, played really well, too. He's another candidate for MVP. He had a nice pick off Manning and a couple nice hits on Welker and Demaryius Thomas. Shook in their belts a little. And what about Cliff Averill? Everyone's forgetting about how much pressure he brought on Peyton Manning. Every play, he would hit Peyton Manning. And, that really got in Peyton's head. But my MVP player, like I said before, I think it's Russell Wilson. I know he only threw for 206 yards, but he controlled this whole game. And he made the big play when he needed to make the big play. Like that 37-yard pass to Doug Baldwin in the first quarter to put him on, first and goal at the 6. It was already, was a 5-0. And I believe when he made that pass, that was sort of the game changer of the game. It looked like the Seahawks wanted this. And they went in and they got a touchdown, so it went up 12-0. But Russell Wilson, he went 18 for 25, 2 touchdowns, no turnovers. And I think if the game was a little closer, I think that he would have made bigger, his stats would have went up and he would have won MVP. What do you think, Ian? Who's your MVP?
I think Malcolm Smith was the right choice. Wilson did a great job managing the game, and his stats are flawless, no turnovers, 2 touchdowns. But I think that it's got to go to the someone on the defense who the defense that shut down the most potent offense in NFL history. So I think that definitely you got to look at someone from the defense, and I think that Smith is as good a person as any between the pick 6, the safety, and really, he had those big plays for the defense that really signified how much they were.
Forget about Cam though. Cam Chancellor and Cliff Averill though, they made big plays.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
You can name just about anybody on the defense and make an argument that they could be MVP. But I think
Malcolm Smith, right?
Yeah.
What about you, Sean?
I mean, when it comes down to big plays, I would say Harvin's my MVP in that respect. He made a lot of big plays throughout that game.
Yeah, those end arounds.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah, that's really true. I mean, if the Seahawks had Harvin the whole year, they would have been.
Yeah, he provided them with a little momentum swing.
Yeah, a spark.
A spark, exactly. His first game back, he wanted to go out there with the statement that he's still the Percy Harvin we all knew.
Yeah.
So, and he showed that.
Yeah.
So that's a good point, Sean.
So now let's say Harvin stays healthy and everything. Seahawks the new dynasty in the NFL. I mean, they're young. They're.
I think so. Yeah.
I think that they're the 5th youngest team to reach the NFL. I mean, to reach the Super Bowl.
I think they're like the Patriots, sort of. They'll be the dynasty team of this decade, but they're different. The way they're different from the Patriots, I believe that the Patriots, they were all offense when they were good. Like, their defense was good, but it wasn't like as good compared to like the Seahawks. I mean, the Seahawks defense is as compatible as the Patriots offense. So like the Seahawks offense is more better than the Patriots defense, I think.
When the Patriots were winning their Super Bowls,
they played really good defense
about 10 years ago. It was their
Wilfork,
it was their defense that was carrying them.
Yeah.
They had Wilfork on the O-line for the last Super Bowl, and then they had Teddy Bruschi.
Yeah.
And they had a great linebacking crew, and their secondary was shut.
I just feel like this team's more compatible on both sides because they're younger. They're one of the youngest teams to win the Super Bowl.
Yeah, I think either the third or the fourth youngest team to win the Super Bowl. And I know that the youngest team was the 74 Steelers, who went on to win 3 of the next 4. And then the second youngest team was the 49ers, I think, in the early 80s. And they took home 3 of the next 8 Lombardis. So I think the Seahawks definitely have a very promising future.
You're right, absolutely. The only thing that I feel like that's going to stand in the Seahawks' way is the NFC, especially this year and last year, it's grown a lot stronger. The NFC is the dominant conference now.
Oh, absolutely.
The 49ers are on the grid. They're here to stay. I believe the Panthers have become a supreme team also. Oh. And the Packers, you can't forget about them. There's a lot of good teams in the NFC. It's more competitive, definitely. So it's going to be interesting over the next couple of years.
Definitely. And then you can't forget about Drew Brees. Down in New Orleans. Exactly. I mean,
their defense though is a little iffy, so I don't know if they can compete with these guys.
That's true, but
they can't win on the road.
If you have Drew Brees on your center, you're gonna be in you're gonna be in every game that you're playing. So that you can't forget about that. The Eagles are another young team that you have to watch out for. I think that they could.
The defense needs to get up though.
Oh yeah. I'm not saying they're at the level.
The offense is pretty amazing, though.
Yeah.
It makes them big. Look like a college team out there.
Oh, definitely. Well, Chip Kelly
from Oregon, yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I mean, he's running a college offense there, and, hey, it's working. Got into the playoffs in his first year. So I think that definitely the NFC is really competitive, but I think that the Seahawks, hey, if they get home field advantage, they're going to be pretty tough to beat. But then, as you mentioned, the 49ers, I mean, they're 2 completions to Michael Crabtree away from winning 1 Super Bowl and being in a second straight one. So I think that
the 49ers, I think, would have beat the Broncos too, because they play sort of the same way as the Seahawks.
Yeah. I think Kaepernick and
so basically that was our Super Bowl this year.
Yeah,
this NFC conference game.
Yeah, well, that often happens that it'll be the biggest matchup for the title will be in like the semifinals, or the in this case the conference championship games. So now looking at the Broncos, what are they looking at like next year? Peyton Manning returning?
I think Peyton Manning will return for 2 more years, but I think next year he's gonna have
a chip on his shoulder.
I don't know, maybe. I think that he's going to have a totally different year. Like, he's going to throw for... He's not going to have the same numbers. He's probably going to throw for around, like, 4,000 yards, maybe, like, 35 touchdowns. You're going to see his numbers drop a lot. And this team, I don't think they will ever make a big playoff run, like, again, for a couple of years, because their defense, especially their secondary, needs to improve. They need to go out and get some players in that secondary. Champ Bailey, one of the best all time, not taking anything away from him, but he's getting old, and they need some new guys out there. I think they will win their division next year. It's just really the Chiefs, and the Chiefs sort of dropped off at the end of the season. But what do you think, Ian?
Well, I think also in that division, you got to look out for San Diego. I mean, if San Diego started the year better than they did, they'd be right up there with
a young defense too.
Yeah, they'd be right up there with the Broncos and the Chiefs duking it out for the for the division title. I mean, they were able to make the playoffs with going 9-7, but that was with winning their last 5 games.
Yeah.
So I mean, they really came.
Well, they had a lot of help too, though. The Dolphins and the Ravens just fell off. They had their own destiny.
Oh yeah, they needed everything to go right for them, and everything did align. But hey, look, with their first year coach this year,
yep. And they beat the Bengals. Who played really good at home.
Yeah, and really they were making a comeback against the.
Yeah, they could have beat the Broncos.
Oh, definitely.
Broncos didn't even look that good that game.
If you put another quarter there, I think the Chargers would have won that game. But yeah, I think Manning's definitely gonna come back. I mean,
I just don't think he's gonna have the same numbers.
Oh, the numbers have been done once in NFL history, and that was this year. So I mean like
a drastic change. I think he might just reach 4,000 yards. I don't see him.
I'm gonna say maybe about 42 to 4,500 yards, and maybe about low 40s in touchdowns.
I think he's like 35.
I think. I mean, Peyton Manning is Peyton Manning.
He's one of the best regular season quarterbacks all time.
Oh, absolutely.
It's just his playoff numbers.
Absolutely. I think they're still the favorites to win the AFC West, and they'll take the division. But I think that come playoff time, that's the thing, that the AFC.
It's wide open right now.
Yeah,
really wide open.
There are a lot of teams that are going to be good next year. Like the 6 teams that made the playoffs this year, they're all going to be good next year.
But there's be spectacular.
But there's no spectacular team
not like the NFC.
Like in the NFC, there are going to be 3 or 4 spectacular teams.
It's funny too, because like 5 years ago or 4 years ago, the AFC was the dominant conference.
Oh yeah.
And the NFC was like. It was wide open. So it's funny how things change in sports.
But like how the Seahawks got into the playoffs a few years ago at 7-9.
They beat the Saints.
That wouldn't have happened in the AFC a few years ago. I mean, you had the Colts one year who went 12-4, and they were the 5 seed.
Yeah.
So definitely
that was like the NFC this year.
Yeah.
Who was the 49ers got the 5th seed.
12-4. Yeah. So definitely the conferences have.
So how do you
definitely shifted.
How do you think that this will affect Peyton Manning's career? This loss.
I don't think it's gonna have any impact on his legacy at all. I think, I mean, still able to go to 3 Super Bowls. That's more than Eli. Yeah, Eli has
2-0 though.
I think it.
And he beat Tom Brady.
That's true. Yeah, thanks.
It's not very easy to do in the Super Bowl.
Thanks for bringing that up. but that was Giants D that beat him. But no, Eli did do really well in both of the Super Bowls that he won. But I think that it is definitely more impressive to go to 3 Super Bowls and go 1-2 than to go to 2 and go 2-0.
Yeah.
I mean, look at Peyton Manning's boss, John Elway. Went to 5 Super Bowls, right? Won 2 of them. The first 3 he lost, and they were all blowouts. And he's considered one of the best quarterbacks in NFL history.
Oh, Peyton Manning would be one of the best all time too.
Yeah, so I think
agree with that. I second that.
I think that a lot of people are making it out to be because it's the most recent game. Everyone's making it out to be like Manning is bad and he can't win in the cold and he can't win in the playoffs. Enough of that. Look, just look at the guy's stats. This game doesn't hurt Manning's legacy at all.
I mean, the only thing I'll say is now he's the most losing quarterback in the history of football. He's 11-12, so he's under 500 in the playoffs. This loss, I think if he would have won this game, he would have went down as the best quarterback, if not second best after Tom Brady. But now I don't know. If this loss, it could be hurtful for him getting into the top 5 quarterbacks all time, I think.
I think he's still top 5 all time.
You think so?
Yeah. I think if he won this one, he would have been easily a lock, top 3, no doubt. Very easily.
Oh, easily, yeah.
Very easily the best ever. But I think that even this loss doesn't knock him out of the top 5, not at all.
One thing that could be said, though, is he will go down as the best regular season quarterback of all time. Like, his stats in the regular season are insane.
Yeah. I mean, look at his regular season record. I mean, he's gone The last 2 years, 13-3.
I think it's better than Tom Brady almost, right?
Oh yeah. His regular season record.
I think it's around like a 700 win percentage.
Is better than Tom Brady.
Yeah.
Now Tom Brady has been to 5 Super Bowls and is 2 exceptional catches away from having 5 rings, but yeah, definitely Manning's regular seasons are just absolutely phenomenal, which is why I think he is definitely still a top 5 quarterback of all time.
All right.
Yeah, I don't think his legacy is going to be tarnished by this. However, it's going to resonate a tad bit. It's just my opinion.
Yeah, that's a good point, Sean. That everybody's still going to be looking at this game and saying, yeah, he did have this one dud of a game in the Super Bowl, on the biggest stage. But really, I think if we're looking at one game, you could find a game that anybody struggled in and say, oh look, they couldn't perform. So really, I mean,
they do that to any superstar in any sports. When the best player of the losing team loses in the World Series or the Super Bowl or the NBA Finals, they're always gonna find some way to critique them.
Oh,
yeah,
absolutely.
It's just media.
Oh, definitely. The media needs something to talk about.
Yeah.
And now that the NFL is taking a 6-month break, I mean,
Payton will be the main discussion.
Yeah.
Will he come back with vengeance?
Yeah. They need something to talk about. So hey, Peyton Manning's a good topic. But no, definitely Peyton is absolutely one of the top 5 ever. And so now that the NFL is over, we are going to take a quick break and come back and talk some basketball.
Come back here next year.